off to the right. Gets a nice roll, but a little too nice as it heads into the end zone as Mitchell just watches it. He wanted to have a little spin. So 18-5. This is to make it 18-8 in a 10-point game from just inside the 40. For Castillo, he is wide left again, and that one sails right out. So the second miss for Sergio Castillo.
Eric Brooks, one of the Stampeders back awaiting the kick. Nick Constantinu just drop one in here. That bounces at the 8 and will roll all the way into the end zone with about 5.5 minutes remaining. Watch for things like that maybe with the weather continuing throughout the game. This is going to bounce at the 19. Alford has to hustle back. And it will roll all the way into the end zone, and he quickly takes a knee with just over 11 minutes remaining.
That almost had himself a pick.
This punt is hammered all the way down and through the end zone.
So they're not going to try the field goal here. Flintoff will punt it. For Janarian Grant, he wanted it just to hit that corner, and not quite. So it rolls into the end zone. So some passing plays for the Red Blacks as the rain keeps coming down. A beautiful punt, but it ends up in the end zone, and so that's one more on the board and a 6-point lead after a 55-yard punt by Leone.
Page.
Flintoff hangs this one way up there. It's going to bounce inside the 5 all the way into the end zone. 52-yard kick from Flintoff. And Brooks will take a knee.
James Letcher Jr. back to return here on the edge of field goal position for Lewis Ward, but they decide to boot it away, dropping it down right at the goal line. Takes 2 hops before Letcher picks it up and takes a knee. After smashing the last one off the upright, but the drive was extended and scored the Jalen Acklin touchdown. They will settle for 3. No, it's a miss.
Julian on to punt it. 2:09 on the clock until halftime. Trying to get them deep. Janarian Grant watches it as it goes into the end zone. The Elks would have preferred something a little bit inside the 5. We saw this last night in Toronto where that wind was really starting to swirl, and in situations where you'd expect a field goal try, instead they chose to punt. And
onside, guys.
we got 2 onside players. Watch for that as Corsack gets rid of it. Heads down in the end zone. There are eligible players coming in as Roland Milligan, as Woods does take it and takes a knee, as you know what the Riders were trying to do there.
In great field position, wasn't executed very well.
And that one goes back into the end zone as Woods takes the knee.
Julian will kick it away from about his own 50. Terry Williams waits. Back to our broadcast right here, standing on the line's 10. And this one from Julian will bounce into the end zone. And Williams will take it there. Somebody could have been paying attention and called a timeout in that situation when they saw the clock ticking down. Julian drops this one in, bounces at the 3, but then trickles into the end zone. And Williams got hit after he took the knee. I don't see a flag anywhere. Grace punts it away from just inside his own 50. That'll hang up there. And that one all the way into the end zone. Get on it! Smith grabs it and takes the knee.
Far out on the limb there.
You're hanging on to the center part of the tree, being like, it's Willie! It was Willie! This bounces just inside the 5 and now into the end zone. And Chris Smith goes back, takes a knee after the 81-yard kick. Four guys outside here behind Grace. And Grace will get it away. Telling him he's got to go get it. There's two guys on side. One of them's Dozier, and Smith will get back there.
3rd and 8. Punting. Constantine, who's having a half that's too busy for his coach's liking, to be sure. And that one with 2 returners back, Berryhill and Williams. Williams just lets it roll into the end zone and take a knee.
Well, Ticat fans love that, Rod.
The sarcastic cheer there.
That's what it is.
Ticats fans, is yes, they do have their first point of this game.
See if they can cash in with some points in a historic year for field goal kickers. Hitting at a rate we haven't seen before, over 91%. This is Jose Maltos, and he misses it. And it sails through the back of the end zone. And so Montreal takes the lead. Late substitutions here as well. Some confusion from the Argonauts on special teams. So Jonathan Edward was headed to the sideline, stays on. And now Joseph Zima will boot this one away. Trying to drop it inside the 10-yard line. It goes into the end zone. And spinning backwards, and that's a no-doubter right there when it comes to no yards, as that's one of the players checking onto the roster, KD Davis, that hasn't been involved that much.
Non respect de l'immunité, Montréal numéro 46. No yards, Montreal number 46. The penalty is declined, la pénalité est refusée. The result of the play is a single point. Le résultat, c'est un point pour Montréal, pardon. Un point pour Montréal.
Split it. It's another one of the guys when we talk about Eugene Lewis not getting going just yet. Ayala taking some of that workload for sure. This kick all the way down to the back of the end zone.
It's a fakeable moment.
Oof, I'll lose my mind. I think Beatty's going to knock this up. And he misses it. Pulls it wide left. Wow, that didn't hit anything on the way up, did it?
It ran all the angles too, and picking up that touchdown. Here's Lewis Ward, 5 for 5 last week in Edmonton, including the game winner. Oh, it takes a turn with the breeze as well. It started off straight and went drastically to his right as Luches Purifoy just picks up the miss in the end zone from the Ottawa 36. About a 42, 43-yard try for Beatty. Within 2, heading right, misses right, and taking a knee, the Red Blacks and Tobias Harris to give up 1. Takes points off the board for Edmonton there as Julian's the punt. And it's not about distance this time. We know he's got the leg, trying to get it down inside the 5, but too far, so out of bounds it goes, and a point on the board.
Yeah, the desire here. Cover the field so you can catch the ball in the air. Don't let John Haggerty get it on the ground. But it finds a way anyway.
He rumbles this one, and it bounces through the end zone.
Position. That's their plan. Now, it does give control to Jake Mayer. A couple first downs. It's game over.
Flintoff. Towering kick. Bergen waits. Bounces all the way through the end zone.
Sergio Castillo is 2 for 3 on the night. This from 41 yards away to give the Bombers the overtime lead. High snap. Sheehan puts it down. It's wide left. Wide left. And the Argos, on their possession, are going to have a golden opportunity to win this game in OT.
Julian set to kick it away. Smoke Harris waits for it. Watch it bounce over his head. And that one will trickle into the end zone. We'll go back, grab it, and take a knee.
Looks like they got something going with Kevin Brown and a little bit of balance. And then have a mix-up in the play call.
Julian lets it fly. A lot of juice on this one. Into the end zone again. And through. Halftime just around the corner. And that one is hammered into the end zone.
Yeah, both these punters don't want to be getting singles.
That's
they want to be putting it down
for the punters.
Putting it down deep.
Montreal's defense 80.4, the passer rating against best in the Canadian Football League to go with so many of their other statistics of dominance. As Constantino will boot this one away, little crossbody hook, and sends it into the end zone. James Letcher Jr. will go back into his end zone and takes the knee.
Brett Lawther to restore the 7-point lead, and that one is wide right. take a knee.
Off the 6-game, back on the roster. Happenstance or trying to get a big win right here in Calgary is the opening kickoff hammered through the back of the end zone, and we rarely see that. Haggerty with that drifting wind at his back once again. Kills the play clock as much as he can. They send some pressure, and he turns and flips this one the other direction. So not just the booming boot of Haggerty, but also the directional kicking and playing some games with Cam Eccles as that one rolls at the back of the end zone. That'll add to the average tally, 88 yards.
That was a great move. He broke out, broke back in, moved the DB with his hips, and his touchdown.
And the kicking game with this breeze continues to play a factor.
See the wrap on his left ring finger, and he heads off. Punting unit heads on. Leone does get rid of it for Alford. Takes a hop. Alford did this before. This time he gets the result he was looking for. The roll into the end zone to give up the point and make it a 7-3 game.
Cody Grace set to send it away to Janarian Grant, the punt return group for the Argonauts, best in the CFL, nearly 15 yards per return. Will Grace allow them to get under this one? Grant allows it to drop inside of his own 5-yard line. Now he'll pick it up and take the knee as a 58-yard punt.
And Smoke Harris back inside the Tiger Cat 10 for the return. Harris watches it, head into the end zone, roll in. So they've had a touchdown. They've had field goals. They've had a safety, and now they add a rouge to increase their lead.
Boris Beatty, 75% on the year. This is a 38-yarder from just inside the left hash. That is up, and it is wide. Boris Beatty's 6th miss of the season. 98 yards, had that shot to the end zone that drew the PI that set up the touchdown. Williams takes this right in his end zone and will take the knee.
Intelligent football player, but the best thing, he is 3rd in the Canadian Football League in special teams tackles too. That's
Absolutely.
an amazing thing.
So well-rounded, and yeah, he was a force with the Argos last year, and he is with Ottawa this year. And that punt by Cody Grace chases Devontae Dedmon into the end zone, where he'll give up the point.
Creates the short yardage situation.
5-time All-Star Richie Leone gets it away. Some pressure was coming there by the Stampeders as that one takes a hop, rolls into the end zone. Well, Ottawa had given up a single point. Now looks like the Red Blacks are going to get one as Peyton Logan goes down and picks it up. And ultimately 1 point on the board. Red Blacks could use something like that from him right now as Grace, the Aussie, sends it off to the left. Dedmon watches it, head down, and take a hop into the end zone. So we're looking at another rouge. Rouge aplenty with the red and white of the Stampeders and the Ottawa Red Blacks.
Very good opening drive for the Riders. Starting quarterback in his return.
30 yards for Lothar. That is up, and he blows it wide right. He misses from 30. 3 misses tonight. He's 0 for 3 from beyond 50 this year. It's 7 for 13 beyond 40 coming into this game. Alouettes kicking it away a little bit closer than usual as a penalty was dished out. Micah Johnson, unnecessary roughness, 15 yards.
Defensively, they have to be aggressive to try and change points, and it becomes a vicious cycle that they've kind of dealt with all year.
Dealing well with everything now. Jonathan Moxey takes a knee. As the Ticats are falling further behind now, 46-22 in the game, and about to go to a record of 2-8. Clock ticking down to 0. Final play for the walk-off Argo win. Haralau heading left.
Missed it.
It heads out, but it's a single point, and it doesn't matter. He kicked it far enough, didn't get the field goal, but the Argos do get the win. And that was their first lead in this game. And it comes right on the final play. This is to make it 48 straight. They already got the second longest in history behind Louis Ward, and looking to get that much closer in this one. It's blocked. Blocked. The Red Blacks Dedman takes it in the end zone, and they'll, well, it's a no yards flag coming out on that too.
No yards. BC, that penalty will be declined. 1 point is scored.
The old offensive coach and you're pushing me around here, getting fired up on both sides for some of their offensive choices.
I was here both places. So
you were. You're an ex-rider and an ex-bomber. You know this.
Every fan today was saying we should be picking one side.
Mario Alford just takes a knee on that kickoff.
He's unable to pluck it off the turf.
Well, Santino this time hammers it. Low line drive, tries to get the spin in, can't pin Toronto after a massive kick. So the single goes up, and that makes it, guess what? A tie ball game.
Sir.
Jake Julian set to kick it away, leads the league with an average of 53.1 yards per punt. Lets this one fly just outside his own 30. That's over the head and through the end zone as Peyton Logan just watches on.
Cloud Bethel Thompson just looked, there's Javon Leak, and he thought he was running a different route.
This kick is skied, bounces at the 3, and then through the end zone. Faithful 1 for 1 from 41 yards. This one from 29, and that is up, and he misses it, hammers it wide to the left. And Edmonton's kicking woes continue. Calgary will have lost 3 in a row. 2 in a row at home. Julian just decides to boot this one down and through the end zone. That'll make it a 15-point ball game.
So this is a direct result of Montreal having the bye week.
It was on a 2nd and short, trying to fool the Lions there, but instead they'll have to punt it away. Zima takes a hop, and it heads into the end zone this time, Rianne. Terry Williams.
Drew Brown, unlike Chad Kelly earlier today, at least the error doesn't turn into a major one that goes the opposite direction for 6 as this football for Janarian Grant rolls all the way into the end zone. Richie Leone goes for a jog, but it'll be picked up there.
And Brett Lauder wanted this kick. He was out onto the field. Then they decided to send the punt team out. He kind of hung his head and went off in a frustrated fashion. And now this kick will roll all the way through the end zone.
Good decision.
Jake Julian, consistently one of the top punters in the Canadian Football League. This season, he is 2nd right now in net punting, and it's Peyton Logan who will be back for it. And a booming punt, and it takes a roll and into the end zone, and Logan will chase after it and make sure Julian doesn't quickly track it down. So they give up the point right away. A 72-yard punt. Jake Julian back again. Last time out, he had a punt single, over 80 yards on that, deep into the Stampeders zone. He's standing at his 36. Peyton Logan is back, but he can really boom it. Another beautiful punt. Takes a hop, goes in again. Jake Julian, 1 point at a time, is doing all the Edmonton scoring early in this game. They get to within a goal, a point, I guess.
The Lions have lost 3 in a row to the Argos against 3 different quarterbacks. One of those quarterbacks was Cloud Bethel Thompson. One of them was Chad Kelly, and one of them was Cameron Dukes. Here's Sean White, and that is up. And Sean White misses one of those nights for the BC Lions. This would be a 47-yarder for his 7th of the night. But they're going to punt it instead. Interesting decision. And that bounces into the end zone for the single.
So Mark Leggio coming on now, 46 yards away. As Leggio looks to restore a 10-point Hamilton lead. It's drifting off to the left. And a rare miss for Leggio now as the Red Blacks will just take a knee. Veteran Leggio started his career with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The boost at 18. He missed before, and he pushes that one to the right. So after one big play to get him in the Argo zone, the Ticats and Constantino will have to punt, and David Unger lets it take a hop. It rolls into the Argo end zone where he waits, and then he takes a knee and gives up the single point.
Tip of the cap to the defenses for getting it done right now.
Don Thomas Erlington on the screen to end the first quarter. Couldn't get the first down, so Joseph Zima sends it away once again. Another beautiful punt. This one drops down, takes a side kick, and Eli Stove watches it skip out of the end zone. Alonzo Adai back to return here as Brandon Dandridge banged up earlier on. They're letting Eli Stove sit this one out, so the free safety for the Red Blacks, and they'll kick away from him as it rolls into the end zone. And Adai out of West Virginia doesn't go down and now gets punished for it. How dare you not take the knee?
He can pull the ball, so if they call that 10 times, he has the option to do that.
Didn't do it tonight. Beatty hammer this down the field, and that'll trickle.
Well, it's live.
End zone.
It's live, but he has to keep it in play.
And they've had times too where they took some points off the board when they had goal to go, got down to the 3, ended up kicking a field goal instead of going for it on the 3rd down. A long kick. And to take a knee is Janarian Grant. Another point on the board. 4-point game now. He'd only missed 2, 26 to 28 with the longest to 53. This one to put down inside the 45 for Maltos, but it's heading left. Just his 3rd miss of the season as Janarian Grant quickly takes a knee and relinquishes the lead for the Argos.
A native of North Delta, British Columbia. He always likes coming back here to play, where he played some high school football playoff games. Grace on to punt. Terry Williams lets it go into the end zone. Takes a knee, gives up the point in exchange for the field position. And we'll take a break.
Jake Julian to kick it away, averaging 54.4 yards per punt, well beyond the all-time record. He smashes this one. Alford watching, and that bounces just outside the end zone and trickles all the way in. Alford will take the knee.
Sergio Castillo comes out. 83% on the year. From this distance, 18 of 26 on the season, as this one will go wide. Janarian Grant gets his hands on it, and the rare time that one of the most dangerous return men in the CFL decides to not take it out of the end zone.
Marshall Lucky's longest return is 31 yards on the year.
Extremely valuable asset to them, consistent returns, but now Haggerty just tries to hammer it as deep as he possibly can, and Whitehead gets on top of it with 2 seconds remaining. Rather save the time than worry about the point.
Down to the day.
Pretty much untouched the entire way. This one's hammered all the way through the end zone. Beatty smashes a low kick away. That's going to go through the end zone, right down to the back of it. Picked up there. Julian with Logan waiting, back on the 5. No contact this time as he smokes one into the end zone. Logan waits. 66-yard kick.
Former team Sales had some time with the BC Lions. Here's the punt now from Stephen Flintoff. Ariel Alford lets it hop. It heads into the end zone, and looks like the first point of this game will be scored as he takes a knee after a 56-yard punt by Stephen Flintoff.
Blanchard's on the sideline. Looked like they were going to have Jake Julian just hammer one through.
We're going to try to punt for a single to win it. I don't know about this.
They're going to attempt the punt single for the win.
The problem with this is The punter is 15 yards from the line of scrimmage. The field goal kicker is 7 yards.
Jake Julian, in a year in which he has set the CFL all-time record for punting yardage, hammers it away, looking for the Rouge, and the win. Got it! A walk-off Rouge to end the season and win it for Edmonton. That just happened.
John Haggerty standing back at his 40. Lucky Whitehead, the lone returner back for Winnipeg. Bombers with a 1-point lead in Grey Cup 111. Just early here in the second half and about to start their first possession here of the third quarter as Whitehead lets it bounce, and it does roll into the end zone